The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily representative of the coalition or any other entity. This content is intended for mature audiences only.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 129. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, what up?
Brett Murdock.
What up, folks?
And Adam Vale.
Double Moon Salt Thursday. What the fuck?
We don't know what's going on with Brian. Hopefully he'll show up later and stuff, couple of things here. Yeah, I have my show notes. Okay, we actually have a contest winner for Titan Numeria. I was very surprised by this because nobody picked it the first time around. So Salazar Naruto 52, you are the winner. So please contact me through Twitter, at Ramudeth, or email me, Tony@thecoalition.com, coalition with a K.com, and I'll send you that code, man.
Direct message, right?
Yeah, direct message, whatever, man. Just hit me up, please. And we have another contest tonight, people.
Whoa. Whoa, what's going on here?
He's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Giving away stuff. What's this?
Yeah. So we're going to be giving away a free PC code for Inside. I know you guys know that game. Fun side-scrolling platforming game by the same people who brought you Limbo. So we have a code. We're gonna probably ask you the same type of question, but
My favorite game of last year.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Oh.
Even more than Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy was number 2.
Ah, very interesting. All right, so yeah, we're gonna be giving that away. So, how do you win it? Listen to the end of the show. All right, man. So I don't want to waste any more time here. So tonight we're gonna do something special since this week was kind of blah when it came to gaming news. We're gonna do something cool, right? All right. So everybody really enjoyed the debate Chris and Brett had during Throwdown Your Questions 128. So I was like, why don't we have like a full on version of that? But we're gonna kind of borrow, not steal. We're gonna borrow the format of the verses from Coalition, only with a few minor tweaks. So basically, we're gonna have 3 rounds, and instead of 3 minutes for the first 2 rounds, we're gonna have 5 minutes for the first 2 rounds, and then it'll just be a free-for-all at the end, so should be pretty fun. And showing you how organized I am, I don't have my fucking questions in front of me, so give me a second here. But Manny, okay, play that sound effect I wanted you to play, because this is the yes.
And then there goes all of our ad revenue.
Oh yeah, Nintendo got us. But yeah, so what's going on is this is actually a Nintendo episode, but Nintendo dropped a bunch of news today. So it's like, okay, I guess it's a Nintendo show then, which is, it's going to be interesting because most of our fans are PlayStation guys, but we'll see. Okay, here we go. Here's my questions. Okay, Chris, Brett, are you guys ready?
Indeed.
All right. Now for the rest of us who aren't Chris or Brett, we're going to mute our microphones because no one's going to be jumping in, all right? I'll jump in between rounds just to say, hey, we're done here. And I'm also going to be keeping time on you motherfuckers. But the rest of you, shut your shits off. All right. First of all, let me actually get my shit together here because I'm pretty sure my phone has a timer on it. Yes, it does have a timer. Fantastic. All right. So we're going to start with the first question here. Yeah, I'm really disorganized today. Who has a coin on him? I'm going to do a coin toss.
Well, who goes first. Hold on. As to who goes first?
Yes.
I don't know, Chris. I don't know if you agree with this, but since you're attacking and I'm defending, should you not go first?
See, but I don't see anybody as attacking or defending.
It's a debate. No attack. Well, you know what I'm saying. I'm down with coin toss. I just don't have a coin on me.
All right. I'm going to flip my deodorant.
I actually do. I just so happen to have one of these at my desk, so we'll try that.
Chris, heads or tails, man?
Tails.
All right, flip it.
Oh, you bastard.
Throwdown, man.
Heads.
Okay, Brett, you go first then.
Okay.
All right. Okay, everybody else, again, no interrupting. We want these guys to go clean here. All right, the first question is the Nintendo Switch a viable purchase? I'll start when you start, man.
All right. I'm going to lead in here by saying I'm not really sure how I got thrown in the corner with the Nintendo t-shirt on, other than the fact that I've been enjoying mine, but I'm going to do my best to try and give an unbiased responses as to why I think that this is a viable system. So here goes. First of all, it does actually implement its Blue Ocean strategy well. It's a second console. It is not for first console play. It's not for the big games. That's for what your Sony, your PC, or your Xbox. If you want big platform gaming, there are already enough options for that. Without us needing a third option in there. However, if you are into things like being able to take your games anywhere, couch co-op, the slew of Nintendo titles, including DS titles and all the franchises, then really you honestly have nowhere else to go other than the Switch. So if you're really interested in any of those things, then those alone make it a viable purchase. The biggest thing on that list of mine would be co-op. Most consoles have abandoned couch co-op. They've abandoned the ability to play games with your friends. Down to even Rachel and I having to buy a second PS4 just to be able to play games together. And when you really look at the investment of two copies or two systems and 2 copies of each game, just to be able to play a few select games together, that this offers a much more viable alternative if you actually say want to play games with your girlfriends or your wife or your kids or things like that. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, the entire slew of Nintendo titles. Obviously, Nintendo has the rights to some of our favorite things like Metroid, Zelda, Smash Brothers, Pokemon, things like that. You're not going to be able to get these games anywhere else other than on the Switch from here on out. And Nintendo does have a slew of beloved third-party developers working on their handhelds that they have been doing for years, and most likely those are all going to transition onto the Switch as well. So there is a healthy roster of games, or at least companies, that are throwing their weight behind this. Square Enix just announced that they're one of them. They're going to be focusing mainly on the Switch, to the not the complete exclusion of other consoles, but to a greater degree than they would on all consoles. So from all of these points of view, I would say that at the very least it's a viable purchase. If you're interested in any of those things, like I said, if you're interested in mobile gaming, co-op gaming, or any of Nintendo's franchises or developers, it absolutely. And I think that covers a large degree of people. If you're happy just playing your PlayStation Call of Duty, this may not be the system for you.
That it?
Yeah, but
you only needed 2.5 minutes, Brad. That's impressive. All right, Chris, you ready, man?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. I'll start when you start.
Well, I'll say Brett brings up some good points, especially with the co-op, and you can enjoy stuff. So it's a complex question because there's stuff that you can enjoy in a personal matter that would make the system appeal to some, but I'm looking at it as on a broad scale in terms of what it gives you and what it does and what it has to do and what it's supposed to be. And in Nintendo's own words, the Switch is a home console that you can snap off and take on the go. But they use their words very carefully. The term console, they know exactly what it means. That means a system that sits in your living room and connects to a television. And they use that term. It's the first term that comes up in the quote, and you can look it up. It's in the official page. And it snaps off to a portable system. Right, so they chose those words carefully because that's what the Switch is supposed to be. A console you could take with you and have the same experience in both. But I think in that respect, it's not doing a great job of being either. And I'll tell you why. And tell you why what I see is happening. So as a console, it has to compete. But despite what Nintendo says with Sony and Microsoft, Sony and Microsoft are heated right now. You could see the wars going on, especially with the Scorpio and all that stuff. So it has to compete on the level of those systems, right? And where Brett says this is a secondary system and your primary system is one of those, for a lot of people, value is important, and you have to make choices in what you buy. So if you already own an Xbox or a PlayStation or both or neither, and you have to get a system, And to have to spend $200 or more on a PS4 Xbox One bundle, and then spend $400 to get what you need to play on a Switch. Well, most people need to think about their assets and spending every month, and they're not going to make the choice to buy a Switch when they could get a full experience on either Xbox or PlayStation. And also that for less money, the Xbox and PlayStation are more capable systems. By and large, they are more graphically capable. If you go Pro or if you go Scorpio later this year, they are way more powerful, and they can give you high fidelity experiences. You'll get 4K 30 or 1080 60, and then you have all the apps available, so you can stream media and watch TV and all that other stuff that maybe other people want to enjoy. If parents are gamers and maybe I don't want to play Halo right now, I just want to watch TV, you can do that. But the Switch is just a game system. It doesn't offer any of that. So on that level, it doesn't compete in power or anything with the other systems that it actually has to compete with, And so then look at it from the other side. So you snap it off and take it on the go, and now it's a handheld. Well, as a handheld, it doesn't fit the tenets that Nintendo set out. That Nintendo set the gold standard for what a handheld video game system is supposed to do. So what are the tenets of a portable video game system? It's got to be compact and portable. It's got to be affordable. It's got to have good battery life. It's got to be durable, and it's got to be backwards compatible. Now, if I list those things I listed off, how many of those things does the Switch tick off, those boxes? And I'll tell you, it doesn't tick off any of them. So what do I mean? From Game Boy, Game Boy Pocket, Game Boy Advance, look at the size of all those systems. You can line them up, put them on your bed if you have them, or look at pictures online, they're there. And the Switch is far bigger than them. And you have to count it with the Joy-Cons on because it doesn't work with them off. So you have to carry it around like that. You're going to have to put the Joy-Cons somewhere if you carry it around. Either way, it is a big tablet that you have to take around with you, right? It's not compact, it's not a clamshell. Where GBA and Nintendo DS and all this stuff gave you a clamshell and they were pretty durable. They could take a beating, you could drop them, whatever, and they'd still work. Hell, the Game Boy is still working now. It got blown up in the first Gulf War in 1991. You could go see it at Nintendo World. It's still running, still playing Tetris. So they went from all of those features, like, especially durability and battery life. And then the Switch doesn't hit any of those marks. It has the lowest battery life out of any previous Nintendo system. It doesn't meet up with even mobile tablets or any of them, which go into the double digits of battery life. It's not affordable compared to either consoles or previous handhelds.
Time's up. That was good. All right. And I'm going to do this for you too, Chris. Brett, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, man. Anything you want to counter there?
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, like, it's difficult to argue when people say that it is both underpowered and too expensive. I mean, they cost about $260 to make. So without taking a huge loss on it, you're going to have to either suffer more performance or pay a higher cost. So if you argue both of those points, it's not really fair, at least from a single point consumer. A single consumer's point of view. Some people may be worried about A, some people may be worried about B, but you're not really going to get people really concerned about both of those. And if you are asking for more power for less money, I think you're being unrealistic. Also, I think that anybody who thinks that this should be a PlayStation is being a little unrealistic. It is absolutely not meant to be that. It is absolutely a hybrid console. So it does not stand up to your standard living room experience, but it does offer a mobile alternative. And I have to disagree with Chris on the whole size of the thing. That is one of the biggest draws for me. And a lot of people that I know that have actually picked one up is you have a screen big enough to show a big, beautiful picture, but it's not so big that it's like lugging around an iPad or an entire GameCube set with you. So you do make concessions, but again, for it being what it is, like I don't think that it does bad, especially in the handheld department, and that's where their biggest thing is, because as Chris said, they're not going to be able to compete with PlayStation and Sony on the console market, but they do pretty much have the handheld market cornered. So when you compare it with the PlayStation in the same breath, you do have to compare it with the other handhelds, and not just Game Boys, but we also have to talk about the failure that Sony put into the field twice. That was the PSP and the Vita. So if we're going to compare, you have to also compare the Nintendo Switch to both of them.
All right. This is fun, by the way. All right. So now we're going to move on to round 2. Does the Nintendo Switch have enough to offer gamers? Chris, you go first this time, man.
Oh, okay. I don't believe it does. Let me explain. I have some. Let me look at my notes. Okay, so I went and counted the number of games that have either a definitive release date, or a month, or a quarter for launch on the Switch, right? And game. I didn't count the like SNK classic games or whatever. There was a big list, but those are all going to be combined or whatever. So I didn't count those individual ones. So the ones I was pretty generous because some of them just had a year, and I said screw it, I'll add it on the list. So I counted 34 that maybe somebody would slightly give a damn to really want, right? And that's 34 games for the whole of 2017. The just to compare, the Wii U launched with 34 games on day one. Launched with 34 games. The Wii U still had the good graces of major third-party developers coming off the Wii, that it got that many games and still ended up tanking. And why is that? Because the third-party people pulled out when sales were dropping. And I don't know if anyone realizes this, but the first quarter, Wii U actually did very well, the first quarter of its sales. And it sold 23% of its sales was in the first quarter of its launch for its entire lifetime. So think about that. Like 13.5 million consoles, 22% of that sold in the first quarter, and then the rest was over the next 5 years. And that says something. And we had the same rhetoric last generation. Kimishima himself said in an interview and an investor Q&A in 2016, he said that they projected that the Wii U would sell close to 100 million units, and that the thinking was since the Wii sold well, the Wii U would follow suit. And so they were saying that same rhetoric before, and the Wii U didn't even come close. They lost third-party support. It was too hard to develop for. They couldn't have system parity between the 3 systems. So people started backing off. The games got canceled. And then, so you don't have that support. Now it has to prove itself. It's coming off the disaster that was the Wii U. And by the way, for the failure that Brett mentioned of the PSP and the Vita, both of those outsold the Wii U. And the PSP actually sold pretty well. The Vita with no marketing outsold the Wii U. So that's how badly it did. And, the Switch, is games only. It doesn't have all the features that gamers have come to expect from systems. It doesn't have media playback. You can't play movies. You can't play music. You can't have streaming media. So you don't have any of that anymore. It's games only. The GDC this year, the survey of 4,500 developers, only 3% of them are developing for the Switch. 3%, right? Where it got edged out by Apple TV was 4%. So that's the kind of support they have going on right now. So right now, if you ask me, like even this year, if Switch is worth it, only if you're a huge Zelda and Mario fan, because that's pretty much what I think everybody has to look forward to, and that's about it. Like maybe next year will be better, but right now I have to say no, it doesn't have enough to offer gamers, and Nintendo has a chance to change that, but they're gonna have to work hard to do it.
All right, you good?
Yeah.
All right, Brett, man, go ahead.
Okay. First, I want to address Chris is very right to be skeptical about the success and the driving away of developers, and they did have the good graces of developers, and poor sales have driven them away. However, the counter to that is that this thing is outselling pace for pace the Wii U at this point. It is the highest and quickest selling console, breaking records in a lot of different places. Let me see. It's got the best initial 2-day sales of any console in North America. It's sold more than any other console hardware in history. In Europe, that's from New York Times. It's the best-selling launch in history in France, according to Le Figaro, selling 105 consoles, 105,000 consoles in less than 4 days. The Wii U sold 400,000 units in North America in its first week, and 890,000 by the 6-week mark in Japan. We have actually currently surpassed that, selling over 900,000 Switches now. So, by any measure, in terms of strict sales, that might be something and should be something to entice developers back. Also, their stocks are not doing bad. So it went according to Bloomberg, since the Switch went on sale March 3rd, the game maker outperformed the broader Japanese stock market by 20 points through Thursday. That's more than double the 8.9% point outperformance during an equal time period that followed the Wii launch in 2006. It's also far ahead of nearly the 30-point lag the shares suffered in 2012 after the disastrous launch of the Wii U in the same amount of, and that console did go on to become Nintendo's worst-selling console in history. So, while I'm not saying that these numbers are relevant, that the Nintendo is going to be a big hit, I will say that you can't look at these numbers and say that these numbers read that Nintendo is going to be a big failure. And while they don't have the good graces of a lot of their old third-party developers, they do have the good graces of a lot of Steam indie developers and a lot of their developers that they're working on with 3DS and or that they've been working on with 3DS and that are going to transfer over. So I think that if you're trying to be forward-looking, then you have to take those things into account. Also, in terms of the launch, the Switch released with a lot of solid games. I'm not saying that the PlayStation 4 didn't, but there was a lot of shovelware in there, and there was a lot of stuff that had been transferred over to Steam, from Steam that was. Is that my time limit?
No, Manny
No,
just forgot to
that's-
mute himself.
Well,
Sorry, go
no,
ahead.
the thing is, I can't mute any sort of sound
Okay.
effects that happen on my.
Don't worry, I'll give you extra 15 seconds, man.
Shit, where was I? Oh, the games released while PlayStation had released a bunch of games. A lot of them were several years old and from Steam. So I don't understand. I would have to say you do have to kind of take into account Nintendo's virtual console of games, as they do own the rights to them, and that is going to be one of the major draws because they are first-party games, and you have nowhere to get some of these other classic virtual console games that are going to be coming out. Also, the Nintendo Switch actually released with a series of good games. Obviously Zelda, I Am Setsuna, Shovel Knight, Disgaea, Binding of Isaac, Has Been Heroes, Mario Kart Deluxe is coming, ARMS is coming, Rhyme is coming, Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 is coming. So while there are fewer, and while I will say that there are several quality titles in there, while I will say doesn't necessarily make it the greatest gaming launch in history, I will say that Breath of the Wild does favor heavily in there, because it is one of the best launch games since Super Mario Brothers. I mean, you don't see a launch game that strong except for very, very rarely.
All right, you good?
I think I'm good.
All right, Chris, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, man.
Okay. Well, Nintendo's been peddling these that they have record sales and all this stuff without providing solid statistics. So I went and got solid statistics, and I went and found numbers. I went on VG charts. I went on Japanese forums. I went everywhere to find this. If I could afford a super data report, I would, but they charge at least $3,000 for one of their reports, so I don't got that kind of money. You know, I could buy 10 Switches with that money, so fuck that. So here's what I got, right? And you can look at Europe. I highlighted in green the first launch month winners of each of the three systems. And as you can see, yeah, Switch in America, it did win the launch month, right? But in Europe, yeah, they're full of shit, because the 3DS actually outsold the Switch in the first 4 weeks. And in Japan, the Wii U actually outsold both of them in the launch month. And I went and double checked these numbers. They're give or take some, they're fairly accurate. I found some articles on Ars Technica and stuff that confirmed them. So the rhetoric that they've been spreading around is simply seeding. They want to spread this message so that people think, oh, well, if the system's selling so fast, I have to get one. Well, it's not really honest, and it's not fair to lie to people to inflate your sales. So that's nice of them. To be fair, yeah, like I said, with the list of games, there are games worth owning on the Switch, right? So there's stuff coming, but there's a lot of ports and there's a lot of rehashes or sequels of stuff and ports of like 4-year-old or 6-year-old games, and I just think that's not enough to warrant its barrier of entry. It's very expensive. And if you already have a console in your house, a PS4, Xbox One, then you already have access to most of those games.
I cut it. All right. Are you guys enjoying this? This is actually pretty fun for me. And that's it. So with the first 2 rounds done, you guys just debate. What my hope is you guys come to some kind of like understanding where the other guy is coming from. Obviously, you're not going to agree, 2 opposing sides here, but at least you guys understand where the hell you guys are coming from. So go at it, go crazy. But I do need to say, yeah, those numbers that they're throwing out there a little sketchy. I saw a bunch of people going, "Oh, this is the biggest launch in America." I'm like, no, PlayStation sold 1 million in a fucking day. This shit took 1 million in a month. So I'm like, I don't know where you guys are getting this shit, but Nintendo worded it very slyly, so people, misunderstood it and shit,
Well, hey, Chris, how many did you say Nintendo sold in North America according to your chart?
Hold on, let me put the Excel sheet back up. So if you look at the USA row, the green highlight.
Why are your numbers so far from the NDPs then?
Because Chris is counting the global, I'm assuming. NPDs are only American.
And this is just from the launch to the end of March.
Yeah. Well, I keep fucking losing it. Yeah, Nintendo revealed the Switch sold 906,000 units in North America in its first 28 days of sales.
North America has 3 countries.
Yeah, this is just USA, Brett. See?
Oh, I see what they did there.
Yeah. I'm just counting the 3 biggest markets, right?
They usually count Canada in when they when those what
Wait,
they call.
Am I stupid? Oh, North America has 3 countries? I thought it was 2.
No, Mexico, man.
Mexico's Central America, though.
No.
NAFTA, bro.
Yeah, they combine from whenever you hear the North American, they usually mean United States, Canada, and Mexico.
I learned something new today. I thought Central America doesn't count.
Man,
in fact,
these damn Dominicans, man, they just want to delegitimize us from the freaking continent now.
Well,
More
whatever.
South
You
America.
motherfuckers are Central Americans. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
and I'm a
is-
Central American too.
That is
motherfucker.
the reason why it's probably done that way. Is because because of the close proximity of all 3 countries, and especially for Canada, you only really need there's only one country in Canada that has state in Canada that does French, but for the most part, you're pretty much getting the same versions of games from all 3 countries there, which is interesting.
All right, guys, keep going. Just had to throw those little facts in there.
Wait. What was I saying? Oh, Brett, you were debating these numbers?
No, I was just asking like where the end.
Yeah, I don't have North America. I just have U.S. and Europe is all of Europe, and Japan is obvious. And I didn't count Australia or I don't have any of that stats. I just took the big 3 markets.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think we're really coming from that different a place. All I'm saying is that don't take these numbers to mean that it's going to be a huge success, but I mean, don't also take these numbers to mean that it's exactly treading in the footsteps of.
Oh no! I
you.
only put these numbers up because I just showed that Nintendo is always full of shit. That's the only thing. When they say this stuff, you have to really take it with a grain of salt. Like, there's some stuff they say which is like, okay, it's like, oh, we're going to show 3DS games at E3. Okay, I'll look forward to that. But when they say we had the greatest launch, the Nintendo of Europe president said they had the largest launch in Nintendo hardware history. He said hardware history, and I'm like, you are full of shit right now. That's why I went and got these numbers, because I'm like, you're talking about 34 years of hardware, my friend. So I'm going to contest that. And sure enough, I found out I can only go back 10 years on like VG charts, and then I go and find out the 3DS did better. And I don't know about the DS. Remember, the DS is the second best selling system of all time, right? Right behind the PlayStation 2. Nintendo DS, huge system. So you're not telling me that maybe if I went back and I could find the launch numbers of the DS, that they wouldn't be enormous, right? You know, they might be bigger than this. So when they put out statements like that, I'm always like on guard. It's always like you're guilty till proven innocent to me when they put out that bullshit. But looking at the Switch itself, my concern is. History is really repeating itself, right? And what history I'm talking about? Not talking about even the Wii U. I'm not talking about the Wii U repeating itself over again. I'm talking about Sega repeating itself over again. And what do I mean? Okay, so if you ask me, the Wii, it was in the same spot as the Genesis. It blew up huge. It had big competition. It did really well against it. Not Wii numbers by any means, but did well in the space that was Super Nintendo and them. And then dropped the last 2 years of the Genesis life had like no games. They put it on life support. Here's Sega CD. Here's 32X, which are both garbage, and literally left Sega people twisting in the wind. And then what did they do? They put out the Saturn, and the Saturn sold like crap. Nobody, Sega fans were pissed off at the whole lack of support and having to spend $200. The 32X cost $200 for an add-on, and so did the Sega CD. So you paid all this money to turn your Genesis into a transformer that was supposed to play games for the next 5 years, and 6 months later they released the Saturn. So I walked away. I said, "Fuck them." And so did a lot of people, and the Saturn sold abysmally. And you fast forward, and the Saturn looks a lot like the Wii U, the middle system that came afterwards that sold abysmally. So then what came after the Saturn? The Dreamcast. And everybody was excited, and good games were on the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast offered features no one else had. It had online. It had a nice interface. It had support. And Sega put out great first-party titles. But they made so many bad decisions leading up to it and going into the Dreamcast that they couldn't survive. And they ended up buying out of the hardware business. And that's why I always say, when you look at that pattern, that the Switch is their Dreamcast. And if they don't do something, like right fucking now, they will have to face the same decision that Sega did. And I don't give a shit how much money they say they got. I know how much money they really got. And I'm waiting until April 27th to see their financial papers. That's when it comes out. I went and checked. And that's when they have to give their investor report for end of fiscal year 2016. I'm looking forward to that, but we'll see. And they better have something in their back pocket at E3 that Reggie literally comes out on stage with his dick out and says, "Yeah, I'm the best." Like literally he has to do that, or else I think they're pretty much sunk.
And you don't think that they can mitigate that with their DS library, with DS developers?
Wait, can you say that again? It was all choppy. Did you say DS developers or 3DS developers?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's what I mean. Like, they need to ingratiate those people over. But here's the thing: I watched that direct yesterday. We all did, right? And that direct was I gave it credit. I was fairly more impressed. I literally said that was the ARMS presentation that should have been in the goddamn Switch presentation. I was like, ARMS looks cool now. Why the fuck didn't you say that in the first place? But they let off the direct with 5 huge 3DS games. Even Pikmin, I didn't think Pikmin was coming to 3DS. I thought that was guaranteed going to come to the Switch. And hey, Pikmin's coming on 3DS.
Save it for the Nintendo Direct part of the show, bro.
All right. Well, my point was, like, 3DS still has a lot of support. And Reggie even said at E3 they're going to be showing new 3DS games. So they're still supporting the system. I thought they would quietly kind of sweep it under and push everyone into the Switch. But they haven't done that yet. And mainly because I think they're like, we have such a huge install base on 3DS, we could still make money off this thing. Meanwhile, while they're trying to play both sides, one system is going to suffer. And it's the new one that's going to suffer, because you have, if you're looking at it as a handheld, and you got two handhelds, and one of them has a huge user base and huge support, and the other one is trying to get a user base and support, well, one of them's going to suffer, and it's probably going to be the new one that doesn't have any support yet.
Well, I agree with that. Most 3DS owners that I know feel that this is generally really outdated. Actually, would be happy with it or new. So
Hey, Brett, you're really cutting out a lot tonight, man. You don't have anything downloading in the background or anything, do you?
No, I'll cut out and jump back in though.
All right. Yeah, let's try that, because we can't be having that shit. I blame Nintendo.
Oh shit!
Yeah, man, you play sound effect for fun, man. Yeah, right. Some motherfuckers. Play something. All right.
I still don't see it.
Oh well. All right, Brett, talk now.
Is that any better?
Yeah, I mean, just talking. We'll see what happens.
Okay. I mean,
you were talking about 3DS. You're friends with 3DSs.
Oh yeah, they're ready for the next iteration. So I mean, unless Nintendo's going to come out with another handheld, they're kind of due for a generation shift in their handhelds anyway. So I don't know that you're going to get a whole lot of backlash.
I have a quick question. Brett. These people that you said that with the 3DS, did they get the new 3DS, or are they just talking about the old 3DS? Did they jump on the nub version? Is what I'm asking.
I don't know. Isn't it the same hardware?
No,
the nub version is
and that came out 2 years ago, so that is new.
Yeah, they actually upgraded the stuff in it.
Yeah, there's two games on there that could only be played on that specific SKU of it.
Well, you can play on one 3DS and not on another 3DS.
No, Xenoblade only works on the Nintendo 3DS
and the Super Nintendo games.
Yeah, you can only get Super Nintendo games on the new one.
They burned us, so that's the thing. It people that went out and was like, yeah, this is new. I can't wait. I'm hyped. It's gonna support all these new features, these new games, and they just dropped the ball on us. I said, no, forget it. I'm not doing shit. That was a waste. That was $200.
Yeah. See, and I want everybody to know, because there's been a fair amount of like grumbling, like. I have not just put on a tinfoil hat and drank the Kool-Aid and run off into fucking Nintendo fanboy la la land. It's a combination of things. One is I've decided to try and quit hating on quite as many things. That's just a personal decision. I was legitimately surprised by my Switch. Like maybe I wasn't expecting that much, but there are actually at least a handful of games that I'm looking forward to. I have a backlog on my Switch already. And yeah, I'm sure it's because, I haven't played Shovel Knight yet. I haven't played I Am Setsuna, and I prefer those games that can run on the Switch to take them with me mobily, because I can take them up to work with me. So I think really with while this is a great debate, I think at the end of the day, the consensus is probably it depends on what you want and what niche you're trying to fill. If you're trying to have something to sit next to your PlayStation, nah, I don't think so. If you're trying to give something to your 4-year-old that's going to live for 12 hours and doesn't mind getting hucked around in the minivan, nah, maybe not that either. But at a comparable price point to a lot of the handheld stuff out there with generally more features and a bigger premise library, like it's at least a viable option after you've already got a real gaming system.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming from the perspective of value. So for me and other people, if I have both PSN and Xbox Live, so I'm an idiot and I pay for both. So I am looking for value in everything, right? So if I'm getting like I Am Setsuna or whatever, right, and it comes on PlayStation Plus, well, you're damn right, I don't have to pay for it. I'm already paying to the service, then I'm getting it. Same thing with Shovel Knight. All right, guess what? I'm getting it. Xbox Live Gold, I'm getting it. So that's where I come from with value. It's like I don't need to shell out $400 to play those same games when I can play them now, and I might get them for free or at a huge discount because I have this membership. So bringing in these ecosystems, it's very difficult for someone to break out and put the budget down unless you're a tech head or whatever, and you just have to have everything. or you really want a Nintendo system, it's hard to say, well, here's an extra $400 and I get a Switch and I'll put these games on there, you know?
Why do you keep saying $400?
Because you spend $360 for a Switch and a game, right? Plus tax. So you're almost at $400. Now I'm a big boy, so I want to use a Pro controller. So
are you just saying because like the other consoles come bundled with a game?
Well, yeah. I mean, what are you going to play on the Switch if you buy it? You spend $300, you bring the box home, and
well,
then
yeah. But like when I bought the PlayStation, my PS4, what the fuck did I get with it? Nothing, and then Call of Duty. What did the launch What game did the launch PS4 come bundled with?
I don't know. I didn't buy it at launch.
It didn't come bundled with anything. It was
No,
just the box.
you could download a bunch of free PSN games that launched that time. So I forgot the name of it.
You could play
Contrast and Blacklight.
Wasn't Resogun?
Resogun was another one. So yeah, it didn't come bundled with them, but you could get them off PSN, and they did give you like 3 months free of PSN. So they gave you that at least.
So there's enticements, but now they've been around. Now there are bundles. Now they're
because they've been around. There'll be Switch. There's already Switch bundles already being announced.
No. Nintendo's always done a packing game, right? Always. Like this is the first time they've just went. Since they haven't done that since 64.
Because nobody else has. Who else? Who else launched with the game bundled?
Right, but you can't say we're different than the other game companies, but we're going to do the same things because we don't want to spend money. The 1-2 Switch isn't a fucking game. Let's be real, and that should have been a pack-in game.
Yeah, it should have been a pack-in. I absolutely agree.
It's a tech demo, so they should have thrown everybody a bone and put that in the system, and that would add value, right? As crappy as it is, it's something, right?
Well,
so if you brought the thing home, you had something to play.
Well, I agree with that. You're comparing it to a console who's later in its generation. Like you have to compare it to an Xbox when it first launches or a PlayStation when it first launches. Like I get that you're not getting the bonus that you got before, but that doesn't make it a worse value than the counterpart that never had the bonus to begin with. That's
okay. So when you open the Switch box, did Nintendo preemptively give you 3 months of whatever fucking online service they're going to launch later this year? Do you get 3 free months of it? Because I got 3 months of Xbox Live when I got my Xbox. I got the little card. Yeah, gave it to me.
Shit, I remember the 3DS didn't even come with a power cable.
Well, that now it doesn't. Yeah, it used to. It doesn't come with a power cable anymore. But that was a shitty thing to do. But this and I compare it to the track record. So comparing it to the other systems around it, if Nintendo wants to be different, and they say they're not in the red ocean, then fucking act like it. Then you do what you did to ingratiate and get the good graces that you got before, which is you have a packing game. You had Nintendo Land before, you had Wii Sports before that, and I forgot the hell came with the GameCube, but they had something, right? That's your legacy. If you say,
would you be willing to pay a higher price point for that?
No, I'm not. They should put that in. 1-2 Switch took about 10 minutes to make with 50 hipsters and a bunch of cameras.
The 1-2 Switch would have been just a throwaway game anyway.
They should have done something like a Nintendo Land or Wii Sports, but they didn't. But they should give people something. Or hell, throw snipper clips of a $20 game. Why didn't they throw that in there? That would have been something.
Right?
Like a fun game. So yeah, so all right, F1-2 Switch, they put snipper clips in there. That's actually more worthwhile to play. But that adds value, right? That gives you something. They don't have anything really to offer. Like now, consoles give you the ability to have a multimedia experience in your living room. I could go on PS4, I could take out a Blu-ray and go, I'm tired. I can't fucking play ukulele right now because I got the coordination of a wounded raccoon, so I'm going to watch Aliens. And I put in the Blu-ray and I watch it, right? And then I go, well, Aliens 3, fuck you, Fincher, you ruined it. So I'm going to go watch Netflix, find something else to watch. So I switch and watch Netflix. The system can do all those things for me. It gives me all those experiences. It can do streaming media. I can play multimedia. I can play music on it. I can find a music station. It's like that, but that is because I'm an old fart and I've been gaming for 30-something years. So it gives me that. The PlayStation evolved with its audience. Nintendo doesn't know what the fuck they want to do. Their advertising in the day is to kids, and at night is to fucking hipsters.
Okay,
And
so
I'm neither of those things. And you give me a games only system that can't even play music. It's not backwards compatible with anything. It doesn't do streaming media. It has no Netflix or any fucking thing on it. And I doubt you're gonna put movie on cartridges. That'll be a mistake like the PSP and UMD movies. So I got nothing. I don't got a web browser. So what is there in that value? What does it give me for
well,
that
first
price?
of all, mobile, because that PlayStation that you just talked about, like pick it up and take it outside your house. See
All
what
right,
happens.
I unplugged my Vita and I'm running Crunchyroll right now,
Oh, okay.
and I can watch Attack on Titan. And then, oh wait, my phone also has Crunchyroll, and I
Yeah.
can watch it on there. But
Well-
see, I have devices already that gives me that leverage, and I can game on either of them. And they
you
can do
really
other
think that the
things.
games are the same quality? Like, you really think a mobile game is equivalent to a Nintendo game? Honestly,
I can play a full MOBA like Vainglory, and go look at Vainglory if you don't believe me. I saw that shit blown up at PAX, and it was freaking amazing. And they were playing it on freaking Samsung tablets, and it's a mobile game, and it's a full MOBA, and it was great. Yes, I can. You can get a good experience on a tablet. Not the same experience, but you can get a decent experience, and they're getting better. There's a ton of money being sunk into mobile games, and actually, 31% of those 4,500 developers surveyed at GDC are developing on mobile platforms. That's a huge number. The only thing more than that was 53% of them were on PC. So PC wins all around.
That's loaded statistics, though. We agreed on that. Like that's a ton of time. That's like this many, like 90% of developers are making apps. Yeah, small 2 groups, because that's what you do in the bottom rung. That's saying, a pyramid is widest at base. Yeah, obviously. So of course, like the large majority of them are going to be working for mobile games because they're not large in-house studios and don't invest a lot of money.
Hey, Brett, you're cutting out again. Do me a favor. Can you get closer to your computer and talk? I have a theory here.
Is that better?
Is that thing like wires or like wireless or something?
No.
I don't know, because it always seems like
dropping out.
It keeps it drops out more when you back away from the computer for some reason. So you have to say all that again. At least the last part.
I forgot.
It was something
you said
about
there were loaded statistics,
loaded
and after
statistics,
that, we didn't hear anything. I didn't. Most of it.
that's all I heard. They're loaded statistics, and then this is a bad night for your cable to be going crazy.
It's basically saying that that most developers are small one and two man groups, and so they don't have a lot of money, or they're very small development teams. They don't have the kind of money or resources to develop for any of the systems, and it's like saying, 90% of developers are making apps. Well, no shit, because all you have to do is have two or three and a decent idea, and you can throw it together with very little revenue and then get it to market. You're not playing with the big fish. It's like playing penny stock. So when you say that 90% of people of developers are programming for mobile, that's like telling me pyramid is widest at space. Obviously. But how many good games out of those 90% of developers, how many really great must-have games have you played? When was the last time you upgraded your phone to play one of the games made by this 90% group of developers? They don't. They're not, because they're all aiming to be fucking Bubble Bobble. They're all aiming to be Candy Crush.
Right. I mean, they could be churning out garbage. They could be churning out pay-to-win fucking games. I don't question that. But they're churning out games. You're gonna have diamonds in the rough, broken clocks right twice a day. Like, if they're throwing out thousands of games, I guarantee a couple of them are probably worth playing.
But even if they are, they're the opposite of AAA titles, which is what everybody's criticizing for right now.
I didn't catch any of that.
I guess the distance doesn't matter. What the fuck is going on tonight? You're not, like I said, you're not downloading porn or nothing, right, Brett?
I have loaded.
Maybe the battery's low on the headset or something.
It's a wire.
It's not a wireless headset.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
All right. Well,
he's gonna switch to different headsets, because that may be the issue. Very annoying. The way fucking technology 2017. This bullshit's happening.
Nah, it might be his connection because look at he just froze.
Oh, yeah, it could be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the connection. All right, I'll take Brett's place. All right, Chris, you're wrong.
Well, you told me.
Okay, Brett, say something.
Can you guys hear that?
Oh, well, it's very low, the volume. Very faint.
Wicka, 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 wicka.
No, nothing.
Oh,
No,
that's better.
Yeah, it's better. All right, talk and we'll see what happens.
Whoa. Okay, hopefully this headset does.
Whoa, you sound like you're in another room right now. It's
Boy.
Wow, it got worse as you kept talking.
what the fuck?
Man,
yeah, he was fine.
night, man.
What the fuck?
Some bullshit.
Yeah. Fuck. I guess let's go back to your original one and just.
Well, I have a question. All right, let's throw something in there to change this up because I mean it's still related. It sounds like they're gonna release a bundle for the Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, Mario Kart. That's coming. Yeah, Brett, go back to the headset you were using before, and then just drop in and out because that seemed to work better, even though it's not the best solution.
So here's my question with that though: is it gonna be at the same price point, or is that gonna be like?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? Because then if it is, let's say if it drops this summer, right? How many people are gonna be hot that went and picked up the original just a few months earlier? They didn't have a game, and now this one comes out and it's gonna have Mario Kart.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't
that
really
happens with
matter because it
everybody,
already.
though.
No, it does. It happens to everybody. Within, I feel like it's all right. When did it come out? March, right? And they're talking about, at least according to the report, this is coming out
In April,
June.
that's when the game comes out.
June or July or something.
Right,
Well,
go
the bundle.
Well,
Bundle.
here's
I don't know,
the,
can you all
here's
hear
the
me now?
article.
Yeah. Okay, talk.
Wait.
Yeah. I want Brett to talk in case the shit fucks up again. Go ahead. Talk.
I think my
Spit your words. Spit your words.
Okay. Well, okay. Unless you already made your point there. Yeah. The game's coming out in mid-April, I believe,
It's
or
not.
late April.
It's not coming out here. And according to IGN, and this was updated today. A representative from Nintendo has confirmed that previously added Mario Kart 8 Deluxe console bundle is coming, but it will only be available to those in Russia. What the fuck? This is literally here. I'm going to put this.
Got punked.
Here, I'm going to put this link in the chat, and you guys read this. I'm in disbelief.
Yeah, I'd seen. Actually, it looked really weird.
You know why, right? Putin got to them. I was like, yo, I need that bundled. Like, all right. It's like, all right, we got you.
I want to really play the Zelda game. I haven't played it since I was in the KGB.
All right. I guess you guys understand each other now. I guess where you're coming from.
We'll wait till Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah, the revenge.
So can I sing this song right now? There's a place in our hearts, and I know that it means love. There's a place where there is no hurt or sorrow.
Hilarious. All right, man. Let's move on to some fucking news here, man. All right, and again, all Nintendo news, man.
No,
So, Mark-
there's some other news.
No, I'm trying to experiment this week. All Nintendo.
What?
right.
But the big
Nothing
news
happened anyway.
it's a big news that dropped.
What's the big news, man?
Big news about Microsoft announcing they're going to give digital refunds.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Then don't fuck up the flow. But we'll talk about that because that is kind of significant.
Yeah,
and you know what's going to happen, Adam? We're going to take jabs at Sony, but no one's going to remember that.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. They probably won't. But the UK guys, they'll remember because they're like, oh, we already have that shit.
Yeah. Anyway, I hate auto fucking start videos, man. I swear. Anyway, so March NPDs came out, and no surprise, the Nintendo Switch was the top selling console, as we all predicted. You know, because, and I'm going to say this right now, people on Twitter were, Nintendo fanboys mainly, were arguing with me. No, man, no way. You know, like, I know it was the Sony guys. The Nintendo guys were saying Zelda wasn't going to beat Zelda was going to beat Horizon. It didn't. So yeah, Sony fanboys were coming at me. No, Sony's going to win that month. What are you talking about? Nobody cares about the Switch. I'm like, it's new hardware. That shit don't matter, man. The Switch is ass, man. Sony's going to win it, son. Man, nope. You guys fucking idiots. So there you go. Switch sold nearly 1,906,000, 100,000, I believe. A lot of fucking systems got moved. The majority of them are in America, by the way. That was just in America, actually. Worldwide, to 1.3. Breath of the Wild sold 1.3 million worldwide, which is pretty crazy. I believe this thing's mixing. Why is this thing mixing up American numbers and worldwide numbers?
This article is confusing.
Oh, okay. Breath of the Wild sold 1.3 million across Switch and Wii U. Okay, there we go.
So they're combining them.
Which is fair, which is perfectly fair. 925,000 units were sold for Nintendo Switch. 460,000 units sold for the Wii U.
This is worldwide monthly numbers, right?
No, this is America, NPDs. You know,
NPDs.
Yeah.
So, how many did Horizon sell the first month?
Copies worldwide, it was 2.6 million in the first 2 weeks. I heard that it was 1.7 million in America in that same time frame.
Okay.
So it's still, we all knew Horizon was going to win. Only the fanboys were saying Zelda was going to win.
That's a lot of fucking games.
That's pretty interesting numbers. Like I would thought that Horizon would have done like a lot better numbers than just that. Honestly,
no, I expected. I didn't think it was going to top 2 million. You know, I was surprised when it went to 2.6 million. You know,
that's
That's
not really much faith in like exclusives in Sony, because like if they're not topping like 2 million and they have like large like base and
but Brian, they sold 2.6 million worldwide though first 2 weeks.
Yeah, but
so yeah,
okay, first 2 weeks, yeah, but overall it's kind of like I was expecting like at least like 5 million.
That's a ridiculous number. That's a ridiculous. That's a ridiculous. Think about it like this. Think about it like this. Brian, think about it like this. Brian. Uncharted 4 sold 8 million. You know, by the end of the year, it didn't sell 5 million out the gate, and that's Uncharted, dude.
What the fuck are people playing on PS4?
Other games, you know, multi-plat sell more, bro. You know
FIFA,
that.
man, FIFA. Yeah.
That's really depressing.
That's actually great numbers.
No, that's kind of depressing. Like I thought that like exclusive would done like somewhat better than what they're doing.
No, that's across the board though. It's always been that way, dude.
You don't find that like very like unsettling?
Oh, you mean like in general? Yes. Okay, I'm with you on that one. I thought you were talking like the numbers are depressing. No. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like people, you know, buy Shooter Man more than they do an exclusive. Yeah. I see what you're saying, but you know, I still think they're good numbers.
It's particularly it's impressive because it's a new IP too. So
yeah, exactly.
Let's put that into
account. Is there a link to the NPD results? This
you
article
mean
is shit.
Yeah, let me actually go because VentureBeat, they usually have a better one. I think that's the one I use in my. No, I didn't. Fuck. Why did I use IGN? VentureBeat has better breakdown. And remember, this is just hardware. The software is next week. I'm making a not bold prediction. Horizon #1, Zelda #2. Says it all right there, basically. MLB's going to be in there somewhere, you know.
The show.
VentureBeat. Yeah,
really big shoe.
Really big shoe.
I think Horizon will sell 5 million by the end of the year.
Oh yeah, easily, especially if they bundle it or something.
Yeah.
All right, I want to ask a question now that we're done debating.
Yeah.
They were supposed to have 2 million units available for purchase by the end of March, right? That's what all the fanboys were telling us. Remember, Tony?
And that's what Nintendo said, yeah.
So how come with all this early adoption and all these record sales, whatever, that they don't say that they sold out of 2 million? Why does it still say 1.5?
Here's the thing, right? Okay, if they sold, Nintendo said they're gonna sell they're gonna have 2 million ready by you know for March, right? They sold 1.5 million, and they're still suffering shortages. So what does that tell you? Nintendo didn't keep their promise on those 2 million Switch consoles. And remember, they even said we're gonna up the amount for March. We're gonna up it to 2.5 million. Remember that shit, Chris?
Well, yes.
Then with the Classic too, and now they discontinued.
We'll talk. Save it for the end of the show. We got that too, man. So yeah, this is what we say. Don't trust Nintendo with this shit. They promise you 2 million consoles are going to be ready in stores in March, right? Then they said, oh, we're going to have 2.5 million, but they only sold 1.5 and there's shortages. So they definitely don't have 2.5 million out there.
Yeah, exactly. And if they did, You're telling me the sales number, like people, if they were so engaged and people were so fiending for a Switch, then the sales numbers would have reflected the amount they put in the market. It would have been 2 million or 2.5 million in the first month, right? According to their own rhetoric.
Yes. So you know what this tells me? Even though the Nintendo Switch was obviously, a success, right? I'm not going to take that away from it. It doesn't seem as on demand or whatever as people claimed it was going to be. In demand. It's not as in demand as people claim. Because if it was in demand like that, all of those should have been sold out. So either it tells me two things: one, it wasn't in demand, or Nintendo didn't produce as many systems as they promised. Either way, it's bad.
Well,
I definitely think it is exactly what it is. It's Nintendo didn't produce enough, and this is the ploy that comes back from when from what they did with the Wii, where essentially they specifically they may have actually produced that number, but because they're slowly kind of trickling them out to try to keep the demand high.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a failing strategy.
They kept saying they weren't going to have any shortage. Remember, they're like, everyone's going to be able to get it. Everyone's going to be able to get it. Everyone. And guys, we saw that. We were watching that shit together when he said there will be no problem getting this system.
Yeah, well, look what happened. Nobody could, who people. I mean, I know some people could buy Switches and stuff, but some people cannot get this shit. But it goes. This is why I was arguing with so many people. I was telling them, like, the Switch is not going to be this big blowout that you're expecting. Like, oh, why? Because you think it sucks. Like, no, because Nintendo's not going to produce enough for them, and they just proved my point. All of our points. It's fucking crazy. I don't know. Here's the thing, Manny. You said this too. Nintendo keeps doing the exact same thing, right? Mm-hmm. But people expect them to change. They're doing the same shit they've always been doing with this thing. The same exact thing.
It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. The same stuff, just with a different console.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, like, is it that they really learned? No, they really didn't learn a damn thing. They're just continuing to do the same things over and over and over again. Nintendo's a friggin' cutthroat sort of company, and if you ever look at any of the fucked up history from Nintendo's past all the way to the present, it'll show it. And the only real way to have true change over in the Nintendo camp is really that the management needs to change.
Yeah, we've been.
This is the same. 5 or 6 old guys there. The only guy who actually was the big change for them was fucking what's his face? Not Sakurai. What's his face?
Who? Which one? The
CEO that passed away.
So Wada.
Yeah, Wada. The only difference was him too. But even then, they continue to do the same things, even under his regime.
Yeah,
I don't entirely agree with that. They've pulled in more third-party support. Again, albeit from Steam, but they pulled in more third-party support. This console, I'm not saying they made strides.
Yeah, you're kind of hardcore, bro.
Well, I mean, the thing is that the third-party support, when you come through, it's like to me a lot of that independent game guys are essentially like a gimme. You go to them to kind of fill the space. And I'm not saying this is only specific to friggin' Nintendo. Sony's done it, and so has Microsoft, because their AAA companies can't hang, or because the amount of time that it takes to develop a game is incredibly long. I mean, look at how long it apparently took 5 years to develop Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, and that's just an exclusive game. If you think about a game like Battlefield 1, right? See, and a ton of people jumped on that game. That game sold very well. It's Shooter Man in World War One. And the thing is, there's enough similarities between Xbox and PlayStation where it's not difficult to port from one to the other. They're essentially weak PCs, right? And AMD built all their architecture. They can port it up to PC and from one to the other, and they don't need to spend a lot of soft dollars making that happen. Now, to get that game to run on the Switch, which is a Tegra RISC-based system that is completely different, the architectures don't match, it has less RAM, it would take an enormous amount of time to port that game over, and they'd have to redo all the assets so it could run on the Switch and run in the memory it has. And that would be a huge undertaking and something that EA won't invest in because the Switch has to now reprove itself because the Wii U was such a failure.
Wait, why are we suddenly talking about wanting EA to port over Shooter Man?
Because it's huge sellers. Those are AAA titles.
Just like when they're porting over
consoles.
it's the same thing. They want that money, and that's quick money.
I think that the one thing that sort of happens though with this stuff is like it can also can happen with the Wii U, where it's like you do make these things like, hey, look, we got Darksiders. Okay, a 3-year-old game. You got a great 3-year-old game. Why would anybody be really interested in playing a 3-year-old game that has absolutely no improvements to it? I mean, granted, the only difference between now is that now the Switch actually has new, in the titles that have been mentioned, which like Battle Chasers and all that other stuff, you actually have new titles that are coming out on there.
They have to find more breadth. People that haven't played these games years ago on other platforms, and to them, it's new. That's what they need.
Well, I think the thing is, I also feel like maybe some of the Nintendo fan base is not interested in Shooter Man. I don't think.
Well, we got Payday coming. Payday is a shooter.
I don't think that's going to do well, being the fact that it's already existed on both the PlayStation 4 and on PC.
Well, I used Battlefield 1 as an example, as a AAA title. You could use any example. You could say, well, are they going to put Destiny on there? Or Destiny 2? No. Are they going to put The Division on there? No. Are they going to put,
Red Dead?
The next Need for Speed?
No, but we knew that.
Who knew that? Why would anyone know that?
Why would anybody? Because Nintendo hasn't been able to put those games on its console like fucking ever.
Well, the Wii had that. The Wii had
that's their fault. And that's
the Wii had a ton of third-party support. The Wii had dumbed down Call of Duty and all of that stuff. So
and they got ports. Like there was a Mass Effect on the Wii U on launch day. They ported Mass Effect. So I don't know how everybody has gotten amnesia that they had third-party support, and everybody's like, "What would you expect third-party support?" I don't know, because they had it last generation. It hasn't been that long. They got Arkham City. The whatever edition, they got all that stuff. They had ports of third-party games. Yeah, they didn't sell well, so the third party pulled out, but they had it, and now they've lost it. And yeah, ingratiating indies is nice and all, but indies are across the board. Like I could play I Am Setsuna and I don't need to spend another dime. That's my point. It's if they want to get more people on board with the Switch, then they have to ingratiate hardcore gamers. Well, how do you do that? You have to have the games that they want to play. And unfortunately, a lot of them want to play Shooter Man. They want to play Shooter Man in Star Wars, or they want to play it in World War I, or they want to play it in space, or they want to play it, wherever, in a rundown New York City. And the Switch doesn't offer any of that. So they are not going to come back. So if you can't get those guys on board, even as a secondary system, it's too expensive. That was my point. It's value. If I already have a PlayStation, I'm enjoying tons of games, or an Xbox, I'm enjoying tons of games, or both, and maybe I have a PC also, which I do. So what's the point of adding a Switch to my that whole thing? What does it offer me besides, unless I want to play Zelda? And Brett, I got to tell you, I'm not a Zelda guy. I haven't played Zelda since 1987. Again, which of those can you take with you to work?
I could take my 3DS to work. I did, and I work from home, so I really don't need to take anything anywhere. When I want to kick back for 15 minutes, I just turn on the PlayStation. And if I don't need to get up from my desk, or if I do need to stay at my desk, I remote play from the Vita. So I could just do that. And the 3DS, I was enjoying Pokemon for weeks. And Pokemon Sun and Moon is a good game. Don't get me wrong. I can separate the two. They make good games, but they don't make good hardware. You got to remember, they have the mentality of a toy maker and not an electronics company. They should be thinking like an electronics company, but they think like a toy maker. Artificial scarcity is a sale ploy by a toy maker. That's not what other electronics companies do. Both Sony and Xbox sold 1 million units in 24 hours. People don't realize that. 1 million units, even with Dan Matrick fucking up, the Xbox One sold 1 million units in a day. And they were able to keep stock. Nobody went, I can't find Xbox One everywhere. No, you were able to find it. you were able to find a PS4 easily, and they sold very well. But it's my point. Like, Nintendo should be on this. This is like the third time it's happened. There's no forgiveness in this. And if you've been making systems for 34 fucking years, you don't get to go, oh, gee, we didn't know there'd be such high demand. Golly gosh, how did that happen? You're not new to this game, buddy. You've been doing this for years.
And I think also the other thing is that I feel like with the GameCube, you know, like the GameCube era kind of sits pretty prominent in their past, where in that situation there wasn't any shortage of GameCubes, but the console, they made so many damn GameCubes that they were essentially throwing them out. There was just so many of them. So the answer to that was like, okay, maybe we don't create as many.
Yeah,
you know,
but
which
you
is
don't
not good.
swing the pendulum in the other direction. Like you test markets like this. You have to do market research. Like you have to go out and test the waters and see like what is the demand for this thing. And they did something unprecedented this time. They took pre-orders for hardware. You couldn't fucking tell from the pre-orders that people wanted this thing. You even oversold it, and GameStop ended up canceling a bunch of them. Right. So you knew the demand was there, but they still didn't get enough out in the month to meet it, not even close. And Reggie went out and lied and said that there wouldn't be no shortages and no one would have a problem getting the system. He freaking lied, and they've been just lying this whole time. For the last year, I've been putting out all the lies. Remember when they said the Wii U would exist next to the Switch and they wouldn't support it? And I said Kimishima's a big fat fucking liar, and they're going to end support at the end of 2016. And what happened? Did exactly that. And we're going to the next story. I call that one too. Go back on Throwdown and listen to me say that what the NES Classic was supposed to do. It was supposed to get rid of leftover hardware, and after that, there's no more. And what did they just do?
It happened again, man. Oh, by the way, I need to say this. This is very interesting. Okay, about the attach rate of Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, right? It was more than 100% for Switch. Why? Because people would buy the game, but they couldn't get the system.
Yeah. Yeah, I could.
I mean, that was actually officially my plan to buy the super special edition of Breath of the Wild, and then essentially just wait on it, because you know it's still you can actually still buy Breath of the Wild a lot easier than you can buy Switches.
I mean, look, I go in the Walmart over here, and even the HEB sells video games. They have an electronics section. I've gone into 5 stores around me that sell systems and stuff. I have not seen a Switch in any of them since it launched. Nothing.
But I'm sure you saw plenty of Breath of the Wild sitting there.
There's stacks of it. Yeah, there's stacks of 1-2 Switch, that, Just Dance.
It's interesting because I've also talked to other people that say that their stores are just filled with Switches and no one's buying them. So it's very interesting.
Depends on the area.
I think that's what it is. What happened, Brett?
Said really?
Yeah, like they said, like, oh man, there's a bunch of Switches here. No one's buying these things.
Well, Brett, you said you went into your Best Buy and it was there. Remember, you just walked in and the guy was like, "Yeah, I have some."
No. I
Brett went on a journey, man.
Oh,
go ahead, Brett. Tell us that journey. Hopefully, you think we'll fuck up.
I had to put stock trackers on and wait for stock trackers to come up. But by the time something would come in inventory, by the time it would be sold back out. I saw one come up in my inventory, and I called them and they said that they had sold out, but they had just checked one into inventory over about 5 miles away. I could hold it. They said no. I got the car, drove like a motherfucker, and I got there and I'm to pick it up, and as I'm checking out, one of the guys that's working there looks at me, he's like, "Oh man, when do we get Switches in?" And the other guy goes, "Oh, that's the last one." So he kind of looks at me sadly and like reaches out his arm and like shows me his Zelda tattoo, and I was like, "Yeah." And I reach up slowly and I show him my knuckles. They get
you belong to the secret society. Like show everybody's like pentagram each other's hand. Yes.
Yeah. Damn.
Well, like I think I had the silent look like
he should have had one already. He worked there. He knows when the shit's coming in.
And then some other guy just went like this.
No excuse on that shit.
Held a Nintendo cartridge.
Anyway, I want to move on from MP, but obviously you already know what happened on the other end of the spectrum. PS4 came in number 2, and Xbox came in dead last, but none of these guys gave us fucking numbers. At least we got more numbers from Nintendo than we did from Sony and Microsoft. But Microsoft, they always gave us, they gave us another special quote, which I will read. This past quarter, from January to March 2017, we saw record Xbox Live engagement with 1.5 billion multiplayer hours logged globally, a 14% increase year over year. Looking ahead, we are excited to share more about our plans for Xbox One, including launching the world's most powerful console, Project Scorpio, along with an amazing lineup of new Xbox One games. We are thrilled with the incredible response we have received to date for Project Scorpio and look forward to sharing more about the Xbox One family and devices in the coming months.
I would like to. You're sure of the date of that because it almost sounds exactly like the last stupid thing that they said.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah. Go ahead.
I feel like we just have like a puppet that just comes out. It's like we have great amounts of Xbox engagement. It's like, come on, guys, seriously.
I should have read that in the same tone as the Nintendo Direct tone.
Yeah.
Let's move on, man. Let's talk about this bullshit. Okay,
can I just like join in and say something just like really quickly? I just had like a quick thought about like talking about like how many hours played is kind of ridiculous because okay, like this time compared to like last year or like last quarter, like they sold more Xboxes, right? So if everyone that owns an Xbox plays the same amount of time, then regardless, you're going to get more hours played in total. Because instead of like 6 people doing like 10 hours, you have 60 people doing 10 hours. So you get like more hours spent. So you're always going to get an increase regardless of what happens.
Because you have more people that bought your system, right? Yeah.
It's redundant in that aspect. It literally is just like, hey, we have taking in more breaths like this year than we have.
They just have to say something, they have a marketing team that's being paid to do some shit.
Again, it's their market. What are marketing teams paid to do? They're made to paint the best picture, despite the paint the best picture, despite the information that they have. So obviously, they're never going to say, "Oh, we are doing incredibly shitty," because then that makes people have that makes you lose customers, that makes you lose investors, and that also you won't be able to get any new customers. It's like, oh well, they said that they're doing horribly, but watch, once the next console generation does actually come, that's when everybody starts getting, oh well, we made a big mistake last time around, so it's the same bullshit. Sony does the fucking same shit too.
Yep, that's
right after once they had a PlayStation 4 out, once it was sitting in the thing, they said, we might have made a mistake on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, let's talk about this bullshit Nintendo Switch, man. The Nintendo Direct. I actually watched it on my Switch. Oh man. These Nintendo Switches, man, you said some very like concise on fucking Twitter. You said that these things feel like they're written and like performed by robots.
Yeah, it seems like they're utterly soulless presentations. Just a bunch of flashing images and just a monotone voice and person standing over it. It's horrible. Like these people do not feel like people. It just feels like this is my impression. It's like, we have games. Would you like to play games? I hear that games are very fun. Would you like to play? It's like that. I'm like, come on, guys. You know what? Like you got like guys at fucking Microsoft. You have friggin' Major Nelson. You have even friggin' the main guy over there. Phil Spencer. These guys have fucking energy. Like even their market, like they seem. Obviously, they're speaking marketing rhetoric, right? But they actually seem like people that are invested in these sorts of things. Same thing with Sony, with all of the guys.
Cultural thing.
With all their guys, even friggin' Yoshida. I swear, like they need like a guy like Yoshida to stand in there and do those presentations because at least he feels like a full-on person. Yeah, where you have this kind of like this human-shaped life decoy standing there. Just giving us this bullshit. It's like,
why did they not have Nintendo of America do our Direct? Why did they both come from Japan, or all of them came from Japan?
I'm gonna say that's the question. That is the bigger question. You know why that happens? is because they're looking for the Japanese market. That's what the Switch is.
Right, but they had a different direct for the Japanese market because if you watch their direct, one of them was a boob squish game. It literally had the guy with
Titty squisher.
Yeah, you should watch Edica's freaking take on it, man. He was rolling. He did the Joy-Con boys drop and everything. This guy literally was into it. And you literally take the Joy-Cons, you squeeze them together, and the girl's boobs on the screen squish together. This is a game in Japan. This was in their direct. Yeah, and you know what? All I gotta say is 2 words, guys. Hey, you want to know if the Switch is viable? If you want to squish boobs with 2 Joy-Cons, it's region free.
Oh shit! There you go. 1 million more sales, man. All right, so anyway, here's my thing with it, right? Because everybody's watching this shit. They want to watch Switch games, right? What do they start off with? 7 minutes of 3DS games. Are you fucking kidding me?
Which just again tells me that this is a console. It's not a handheld. Because why would you do that? Why would you advertise unless?
Well, this is
having 2 consoles?
Again, they started it with the 3DS. It's like, oh my God, what the fuck? I know what you're saying. It's like, hey, we have a handheld, and here's a console. I see what you're saying, Adam.
Yeah.
We have this handheld that you still continue to play, so we will provide you with games.
And what did it? Because I'm looking at the Nintendo's page here, it's all mixed up. But like they have, who was asking for another Concept game? Wasn't that one of the worst games ever? Concept Saga.
I didn't even know what that was.
Concept is an incredibly cheap game to make. We can make millions of them and not cost a lot of money.
But like I said in the debate, I was shocked that the Pikmin was coming for 3DS, that they didn't kill that shit and put it on the Switch. I was shocked.
We were making a Pikmin game, and we cannot cancel it because it is too far in development. Would you like to play it?
Yeah, no, it's like you like that money because there's 65 million 3DSs in the market, and you know you're going to get more engagement. That's what it is.
Yeah. But Monopoly though.
Yeah, what's funny about the Monopoly announcement? I'm like, oh wait, wasn't that already available on everything?
Now that's a huge hit.
Didn't they give away Monopoly on PlayStation 3 years ago?
Yeah, that's a huge hit on handheld. I play with your dad in Monopoly because the fact that it connects to the network. So you take your turn, then he gets a message, and then he rolls his dice. He takes his turn. I remember I played with almost everybody in the family with that. So, and it was only 99 cents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were giving that game away.
Yeah, what a bullshit. And then they showed ARMS. I agree with Chris. They should have showed that at the fucking the reveal,
Well,
Mm-hmm.
the game, if it's a 1v1, it looks like slow paced and boring.
Yeah, no, it looks bad.
I still don't care for it, but when I saw the 2v2, I kind of it reminded me of Power Stone. And I loved Power Stone.
Oh, that was a fun one. Kicking chairs and stuff like that.
And then the fact that I had 2-on-2, I'm like, why did you motherfuckers not say that in the first place?
Yeah.
So stupid. Like
the 2v2 looks fun. It looks like it's more competitive. It looks like it's more fast paced, more hectic.
This boring jerk off spent more time listening counting how much ice he had in his goddamn Joy-Con than showing us what the fuck this game was really about. So I poo-pooed all over it, and I was like, hey, that looks better. Why didn't you just say that?
Yeah, graphically it looks really nice, but then it's a very enclosed area type of games. But I mean, I'm not interested in ARMS. It looks stupid. They should have just given us Punch Out instead. But that's their what else did they fucking show? They showed.
We decided to make ARMS because Punch Out did not do very well on the
Wii. I'm just reading game off.
Fuck that! This should have been Punch Out.
Splatoon 2, whatever. I don't really care about Splatoon.
I have a problem with any of the marketing for Splatoon because it has that like they try to make it supposedly in the world of Splatoon, but it just plays off as dry and dopey.
Yeah, it was terrible. That VHS looking shit. Hey, you know what?
What was that all about?
You want to know how to do a vintage fucking tutorial or documentation about a game? Go play Fallout because they did it.
Yeah, by the way, speaking about that, there was another game that had like a retro kind of trailer, which was brilliant. And this is the only game on here that I was interested in, but it's coming out for other systems. Sonic Mania. Remember the trailer for that? That was fucking on point.
Right.
But again, think about it, the only game, actually, no, there's 2 games on here which I'm interested in. They're both coming out on other systems. Chris, I hope you got as mad as I did when you heard that Battle Chasers coming to the Switch first. What the fuck? man.
Yeah,
come on.
I was like, I was shocked. I was sitting there, I was like, wait, what? What the fuck?
Yeah, and okay, props to Nintendo for getting that first, but come on, like, okay, even though I could play it, obviously I have a Switch, I don't want to play that shit on my Switch. I'd rather play it on PS4. You know, come
Well,
on,
I mean,
man.
here's the thing. All you need to do is just wait. It's like
That's what I'm saying. I'll just wait. But it's like
I think it's just a month difference. It's really silly.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, again, props to Nintendo for getting it, but at the same time, it's like you have to wait a month then.
But again, then again, it's also an independent game. It's not that hard to secure an independent game, like an independent game developers. To say, hey, can you release this a little bit earlier on our thing? Yeah, sure, we'll give you a little money. Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, man, let's see what else they had. Sonic Forces that's coming out to everything. Disgaea 5 that came out on PlayStation 4 years ago. Rayman Legends.
Oh my god!
So you essentially get a port of a port from the Wii U.
Reggie wasn't lying. Minecraft is coming.
Yeah.
See, there you go. He wasn't lying, so that means that Microsoft is making some a little bit of money off of that.
Damn right.
That means that I love this because that actually means that somebody at Nintendo had to go over and talk to somebody. Maybe they had to talk to somebody at Mojang, but all of the Mojang, I'm sure Mojang decisions do have to be also approved by Microsoft.
Of course, they own it.
Yeah, so I'm like, somebody at Nintendo had to go over to Mojang and be like, yo, can you get this? People keep making Nintendo stuff inside of your Minecraft. Can you make Minecraft for Switch? And they're like,
Show me the money.
how much you got? How much you got?
Yeah, how much you got? I have an interesting question. I have like a million tabs open because for the debate, right? I had all my fucking data open. Somebody tell me if DQ Heroes is more on the Switch than it is on the PS4. Is it all $60 across the board?
Dragon Quest, right? Let me see.
Yeah, Dragon Quest Heroes.
If it's $60 across all of them, it probably is going to be $60 across all of them. Except for Vita, obviously,
Yeah, the Vita one is obviously the cheaper one.
I'm checking right now. I'm just going to Amazon. Oh, hold on. This is Sports Edition. Let me get the normal. Is there no normal edition of this shit?
I thought there was.
What? Yeah.
I know there's some kind of crazy bundle, but I don't care for that.
Well, check this out. For the Switch, it's actually Dragon Quest 1 and 2 coming together. $83? What the fuck? Again, probably because it's on a fucking cartridges,
It's probably because it's on like new tech cartridges.
$83.
$83 for the Nintendo version. So it is more expensive. I mean, you do get 2 games though.
$83.
The Explorers Edition, which is like the Super Edition, is $60 on PlayStation and Xbox. No, it's not on Xbox, right?
No, it's not on Xbox.
No, it's not on Xbox.
PS4, Vita, and the Switch.
Okay, so yeah, $83. Jeez.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Yes.
You're looking at the import version. That's why it's $83.
No, I'm looking at the Switch version, dude.
$350. Switch.
I'm gonna link it. I'm gonna link it to you right now.
Excuse me.
There you
go. Yeah. Import game, Japanese version. You see where it
is that
says
what
in
it
stock?
is? Oh, look at that. Nice catch there. So where's the American version then?
It's not out yet.
No, none of them. They should be able to pre-order it, Brett. It's not, yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go on GameStop. I hate GameStop.
Oh.
Go on their shitty website.
It's horrible.
Whatever. I don't care anymore. So yeah, there you go. I don't think we have anything more to say about Nintendo's Direct. Fucking bullshit.
I just feel like with the supposedly new thing that they're doing, it just feels like they're just, again, it's like they're doing the same thing. I mean, I obviously you want to do something that kind of excites the people that are on there, as well as, try to get new people in. I always say this about a lot of the Microsoft things, even E3 things, a lot of their things are quite exciting to watch, where it's like, okay, this is coming. Like, okay, I'm getting close to making that sort of decision. And I feel like the kind of dry nature of the Nintendo Directs don't exactly do anything that marketing is really kind of supposed to do, which is supposed to kind of sell it to new people as well as, you know, the people that are already sitting in the rows.
I mean, this year, I mean, they're not going to, Zelda's already out, so they're not going to have that crazy display and everybody going in there. I doubt they're going to have one entire thing for Mario Odyssey. Well, I don't know. But those tailored things, remember they were showing Pokemon Sun? It's like, could I run here? Can I go here? Can I do this?
Yeah.
What do the Japanese overlords say? I hate that shit, man.
Yeah, the Japanese overlords.
Oh man!
Do not go over there; it will break.
They literally were telling them where to run during the presentation. I'm like, do you guys not fucking?
You know what yeah, because you know what they're probably doing. They're running through what they call the E3 demo. Like, I remember I was watching these. I can't remember what it was. One of those YouTube guys that go into like old versions of games, and essentially somebody got their hands on the E3 show, like not show floor, but stage demo of a game. And essentially, you know how like, you know, remember how Killzone was years ago was just video, right? But for this situation, it was all the enemies, and you're only supposed to run through this kind of cut down version of the game in a specific way. Everybody appears in the same, so it's not a true to gameplay experience. It's literally a tailored live demo of the game. So the main character can't die. You know, you can't actually die. All the same things there. You can only go in these certain, you know, go up on, you know, essentially play through the demo in a specific way to show the game, which is interesting.
Well, I mean, when we were there and I played the Wii U Zelda, and I literally understand what Brett's talking about with running anywhere. But I had this motherfucker behind me telling me, "Oh, you don't want to go over there yet." I'm like, "Motherfucker, you said I could go anywhere. I'm going anywhere. Don't tell me how to live."
You know, motherfucker.
You're not my real dad.
I'm like, I have this big world, and he's like, "You could go here, and you could do this." So I started doing that, and then he's like, "Oh, but you don't want to go that way." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Can I run the Ganon? Can I run the Ganon right now?
Oh yeah, he did say that. So I'm like, yeah, give me that fucking glider. Let's go.
You know, right, man. I want to move on because I'm ready to talk about this shit. Nintendo discontinues the NES Classic Edition. Is anyone surprised by this?
No.
All I gotta say is,
I'm looking at you, man. I'm looking at you. What did you tell people, man?
I told you in that fucking throwdown that they just were using the NES Classic to offload old hardware. Why do you think it had a 3-foot cable? That's all the leftover fucking nunchuck cables that they had. They used this to mop up all that leftover stock of hardware that they couldn't get rid of because it's a shitty standard. It has a port that doesn't make any sense. How are they going to get rid of those? What, put them in a landfill? This idea was brilliant. They actually made money off of offloading that old cabling, right? And all the other stuff that they recycled to make all the NES Classics. So I told you, I said, after they get rid of all that hardware, wrap it up. They're not making anymore. I said, don't even hope for a SNES Classic unless they have more shit to get rid of. It's not happening. And there it is. They finally fucking admitted it.
And the other thing behind this that, you know, me and Tony talked about, and I'm sure everybody thinks this too. You know, Nintendo is going to be launching their online mode, and remember,
the virtual console, the
online virtual console. And wouldn't you think that most of those games on the NES Classic are on?
Yeah, my theory, and Chris, obviously, I believe you're right, but my other theory is like, hey, we got this virtual console coming. We don't want people buying the NES Classic to play old games. We want them buying Switch to play old games, because wouldn't that be a brilliant tactic to sell more Switches? Hey, you want to play old classic games? Buy a Nintendo Switch. People will go fucking nuts. I'm telling you, man. You know, Nintendo, you know, we know how they operate, man. This is all very transparent, you know. So, oh, by the way, right now it's been discontinued in North America, right? No official word from the rest of the world yet. But as I wrote in my news piece, I was like, expect this to be canceled in the world soon. Right now, I just saw it pop up in my feed. The NES, the Famicom Classic has been discontinued, quote unquote, temporarily. They're like, we'll give you word when we have more in stock. They're not going to have more in stock. They're done. That's it. You know, it's over. It's fucked up because how many people wanted this shit? Like the majority of people
asking me why. Why did people want it? You can't upgrade it. It came with some bullshit games.
I'm about to answer your question. Most of the people that have asked me about it are all casual gamers, right? They're like, "Oh, I love Nintendo, and as a kid, I want to play Nintendo again." They don't know about emulators or any of that shit, you know. So that's what those are the people that really, really want it. They could have made a fucking killing, you know. But again,
it's those people that have the nostalgia of the original Nintendo, but have not, for whatever reason, continued to play video games as of late.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I always felt like when I heard about this, I'm like, oh, this is just a test run. This is to see if there's an interest, because if there is, we'll see another version come out. That one will have online, and it'll have a service so they can go and buy all their old games again.
That's called the Switch.
And Brett, see what I was talking about earlier about patterns? This is another bad decision by them. This doesn't ingratiate anyone into the Switch when you screw over people waiting for an NES Classic and don't get your messaging straight to tell them that there wasn't going to be any more. Instead, they let people hold out. You should see the comments on this article. People are fucking spewing lava. They're pissed off.
Like $200-$300 online on eBay. People are jacking up the price.
I said that in my write-up. I'm like expecting eBay prices to jack the fuck up. I saw one today listed for $4,000. It was $1,000 yesterday.
Nice.
This could have been a chance to the NES Classic, if they played it right, could have been the gateway drug into the Switch.
Yeah.
Instead, they just dropped it. No, don't make a face. I'm really fucking serious. If you were going to say Virtual Console is a viable thing, why the system is viable, then why wouldn't you ingratiate people with some classic games, build off the nostalgia, and then just escort them right over? But they didn't do that. They just chopped it off, and I knew exactly why, and I called it.
Nintendo.
But you know,
I wasn't interested in the
NES Classic.
Yeah.
Sure, I wasn't either, because I've been playing emulators since '98. But
I feel I definitely I called this before, but it's definitely kind of a rope-a-dope tactic, where it's like, because again, like I said,
hang, man.
Yeah, it's like okay, we got this thing that you recognize. You know, you guys out there who haven't played Nintendo in 10 years or more, or 20, 30 years. Here's a thing that's familiar to you. Okay, I remember that. Oh, you can't get it. Or if you got it, it's like, well, you can't put anything else on it. Because guess what? We got the Nintendo Switch coming. And you gotta get that. If you want to play Castlevania 1. Or was it 2 that was on there? It was some weird one. Oh no, Double Dragon 1 wasn't on there, but Double Dragon 2 was on there.
Yeah, some bullshit. We saw it coming though, but it's fucked up for all the casuals that did want one, you know.
You know, somebody can, you know, as I remember,
there's knockoff versions that you can buy if they. Yeah.
As I remember that, you know, a lot of the, you know, you can kind of there's a lot of systems out there on the market that play these games a lot closer to what they originally played like. The one thing about the Nintendo Classic, and I've said this before, and they've tested this, that this console or emulator or whatever you want to call it,
it's an emulator.
It really doesn't play the games true to what they originally played like. There's a lot of lag that happens in certain games. Some of the games run slower, stuff like that. It's funny because in the market right now, there's these kind of these other companies that are making way better examples of one-to-one hardware emulation rather than just kind of software emulation like this thing is using. But then again, you know, that doesn't matter to casuals. They want to play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out or Punch-Out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and then we throw this in here because this isn't Nintendo news, but it is worth talking about. Thank you, Adam, for insisting on this one. So Microsoft will
wait before you.
Yeah, Emmanuel, we're done with Nintendo. You know what that means, right?
Oh,
I love these sound effects, man. So yeah, Microsoft is going to be having refunds for digital games. So what do we think about that?
It looks like they're following the same footsteps of Steam. It's just like it's 14 days, 2 hours minimum play time.
It's about fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really? Well, how long has Xbox Live existed?
But that's the thing. It's like it's been available in Europe. It's just a U.S. thing because in Europe it's mandatory. In Europe for the Xbox they have to call in. On the PlayStation, there's an actual button. There's refund.
There's a button now?
Oh, there's always been a button. We just don't have that button.
In Europe, right?
In Europe, they have it. Yeah, if you go to the purchase history, you'll see refund, and then poof, you get your money back. But
how is it that I don't, nobody's ever taken the time to explain why these things don't exist in the
they said because
States?
it's forced by the government for online purchases to have that option for digital items. It's not by our U.S. government. Yeah, so they're not obligated to have that option. It's optional, and they choose not to have it. So I think this is a huge deal because there's a lot of people that, especially if you're trying to get people to go full digital, what do you always hear to complain? Oh, well, I can't give that shit back. I'm gonna lose my money if it's some crap shit. Well, on Xbox now, you can get your money back, and there's gonna be no questions asked. You're not gonna have to call the 1-800 number or any of that shit. You just make sure you only play 2 hours, and it's within the 14 days. There you go. Hell, some games you could probably beat in an hour if you think about it. So if you play your cards right, not to
you play My Name is Mayo.
My Name is Mayo.
They don't have that on Xbox. Do they? My Name is Mayo.
I don't know. I don't know if they have it, but
of course, this raises the question, right? Yo, Sony, what's up?
Yeah, Sony. It's definitely going to be a question now because then once it's fully announced, and then they're like, all right, well, whenever they get interviewed, so any new features coming to the next update? How about refunds? It's going to come up.
Well, Microsoft has refunds.
yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Steam has refunds.
They're going to pimp this shit at E3.
But does Nintendo have refunds?
Okay,
No.
Insert the Charlie Murphy laughing gif in right now. Because, they're not gonna have it. By the way, rest in peace to Charlie Murphy.
Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Nintendo, they laugh at that, Brian. They laugh. They're not gonna have no refunds. Get the fuck out of here.
See now at this point in time, if it was a Nintendo laughing, I would have used the Bowser laugh.
Yes. I'll get that for you next time. But yeah, there's not really much to say about this. Great on Microsoft. That hopefully Sony will do it too. Hey, I could have given back fucking The Witness, that bullshit game. And fucking Firewatch too.
Did I ever tell you my story, my Division story? Did I ever tell you about that? What happened when I tried to get? So I picked up the Division on PS4. Right, I did the pre-order, and I was playing. Remember when you pre-order, you get that beta and the whole thing. So I'm playing with some buddies. We're like, "Yo, this is the game. We want this. Can't wait." So then I saw a button that said, "Oh, click here to upgrade to the 99." So I clicked it, and it took me to the store, and I saw it just say 99. It didn't say like a difference of like $20 or whatever. You know what I mean? From what I already had pre-ordered. So I'm like, well, I guess it'll cancel out the other one, right? Just makes sense. So I pre-ordered it. Later on, I look at my card and I notice my credit card. I noticed I have charges for two, one for the 60 and one for the 99. Right? So I'm like, well, maybe they'll fix it up. When the game was launched, I had two, and to this day, I have two versions of it on my console. This is the Division, and this is the Division Deluxe. I'm like, this makes no sense. So I go on their website. It says, oh, if you have any issues, you can contact us through the chat. So I did the live chat. And I said, yeah, listen, here's my transaction number because I went to the transaction history, the purchase history number. Here's the code. You'll see this is a game. And then I wanted the better version. And well, the one with the season pass. So why can't I get a refund? They're like, well, we don't really give refunds, and if I do this, it's just making an exception. I'm like, why are you acting like you're doing me a favor? It makes no sense to have two digital copies. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You don't see the issue here. It's obviously an error on if not your part, Sony's part, then on Ubisoft's the way they did the ad, but clearly said click here to upgrade your pre-order, and he charged me the full price. That's not an upgrade, and I've seen other games do it. I had one for Battlefield 1, and they had to upgrade, and it showed you it's like $20 because it saw that I did the pre-order of the other one. But this one, until this day, I have both versions still. They gave me my refund, but they never removed it from my list. So I have two Division digital versions, and they both work.
You can't give them anything away. You can't give them away.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
So it's just stuck there. I'm like, whatever. But it pissed me off when she was like, well, I'll make this one exception, but we really don't give refunds. But I'm like, yeah, I have two of the same shit. So you're telling me if, let's say somebody mindlessly, I don't know how this happens, but because most of the time it'll say purchase, but let's say if they click it and they bought it twice, you're going to charge them twice? It's the same digital version. Whatever. That pissed me off. I got my money back, but still, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. And then when I looked up online, the worst is just seeing these YouTube videos from UK. Oh, just go to purchase history, click the refund button, and there you go. It's that simple. And then you see all the comments and people from North America hating on them. We don't have that option. That button's not there. What the fuck is this? Did you get a certain firmware upgrade? Blah, blah. And I'm like, nope, sorry. We just have that in the UK.
We're English and we're better.
Yeah. Sure, we sound like the Beatles, only better.
Yes. Oh, man. All right. I think that pretty much does it here. So, contest time. All right. Once again, Mr. Zalazar Naruto 52, please contact me on Twitter at RamiDeath or email me Tony at thecoalition.com, coalitionwithak.com, so I could send you your code for Torment Tides of Numeria. So now we're going to do a new contest. We're going to be giving away a PC copy, Steam copy of Inside. All right. So the question, and we'll pick somebody at random, is what is your favorite platforming game and why? You can write it in the comments of this video, not in the live chat, guys. You guys in the live chat, wait until we finish streaming this shit. Then you could leave the comments or over on the coalition, obviously. So yes, what is your favorite platforming game of all time? We'll pick somebody at random, tells a good story too. Better stories gives you better chance of winning a copy, you know? So that'll be a lot of fun. So good luck to everybody.
What is everybody's platforming in here favorite platform game?
And we got a couple minutes to kill. I got to think about this one.
Yeah.
I bet I know Chris's.
Oh, what's mine?
It starts with a castle and ends with a Vania.
Oh, you got me. Symphony of the Night, man. Fucking
yeah. It ends with night, not with Vania.
Okay, I mean, it is a side-scrolling game, but I would consider that more of an action game. You know,
like
I'm thinking a platformer. You have to jump.
It had a lot of those aspects.
Yeah, I mean,
Bionic Commando.
I'm sure, but you know, for me, I'm thinking about Mario, Sonic, shit like that. You know,
mean, there's stuff up there. It's hard to compare because like Super Mario World is a great platformer. Sonic the Hedgehog, I'd consider a platform also. You know, it's like it's hard, but yeah, my favorite, like Manny nailed it. I love Castlevania.
Yeah,
you like Castlevania.
I know it's funny. I never was into Mega Man when I was a kid. I skipped that one.
Here's the thing with Mega Man. I like Mega Man, but I could never. Oh, Contra.
Contra was great. Yeah.
Oh, I was playing Contra today.
I played Ninja Gaiden, even though it made me grind my teeth.
Yeah, that's the reason I could never beat a Mega Man game. The first time I beat a Mega Man game was literally last year, Mega Man 2. Finally, after all these years.
Mega Man 1 is actually quite hard. I have to actually say my favorite platforming game is the Mega Man games. Up to 3, because that's where I stopped.
Okay, so the first 3 then.
The first 3 games. Because 3 was considered the last game, and they said it was the last game, but those motherfuckers made a Mega Man 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Yes.
Like Final Fantasy?
Yes.
It's
the game is called fucking Final Fantasy. That means it's the last. And then they made 15.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know what? I'm gonna go with what I consider to be like platforming perfected. Super Mario World, man. Like that game is just brilliant. Like I played it recently and it still holds up. You know, so yeah, that's mine.
Where are you going? Super Mario World.
Was that for the show?
That's from the show.
That's from the show, yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, Carlos, what about you, man?
I think I'll say Super Mario 64 because the impact that game had on me like was bar none the biggest impact that I've had. Like just the way you thought of playing video games changed when I played that game. And especially that was a successor to Super Mario World, which I mean, it was a fucking amazing game. So like just to up the ante in a new generation, it was just a special place, man.
Awesome. All right, Brian, what you got? Mr. Brian.
I would have to go with OG Tomb Raider. I think 1, 2, and 3. I'm not too sure about after 3. It's not technically platforming, but those platform sections were just ridiculously fun.
Yeah, they were. Man, they were. It's funny you bring that up, Brian, because that was my Mario 64. I never played Mario 64. That was the game. I'm like, oh shit, I could do all this in a game. This is crazy. And I could go there. I could go there. This is nuts. Totally.
I guess if you want like my real answer, I guess it's Crash Bandicoot 2.
Okay.
Tony, I'm
Was that
surprised
one-
you
was
didn't say
that
Legacy
one
of Kain or Soul
Legacy of-
Reaver.
Soul Reaver's not. I don't consider that a platforming game.
No,
Yeah, it's more of an
No,
adventure.
that's an action adventure game.
And
there's
it's
a lot
also
of platform
top
jumping in
down.
that game.
Is it?
No, Soul Reaver, not like a big game.
Did you see Soul Reaver or the other one?
Yeah, Soul Reaver. You said. Yeah, that's not a platforming game.
Is Gunstar Heroes a platforming game?
Gunstar Heroes.
It's a side-scrolling shooter like
It's a
Contra, so I
side-scrolling
guess so.
shooter. Yeah.
If not, then I'd have to say Kid Chameleon or Kid Chameleon.
Oh,
Ooh,
Kid
Kid
Chameleon.
Chameleon.
Oh,
Nice.
look at that.
I like that choice.
Yo, going back to Master System?
Oh yeah,
Right?
Master System, man. Good shit. Adam.
Bionic Commando and Mega Man.
Ooh.
Love the Bionic Commando. I was playing that today too. Bionic Commando.
You like?
No,
Oh man, I
I've-
mean, not to mention, man, that remake they did. That is one
No,
of
the
the
art
best
was
remakes.
good.
You know
yeah.
what
Yeah,
weirded me out
Beyond,
about
Beyond Re-
Yeah, you
It
know what
was
weird
great.
about Biocommando? You couldn't jump. You had to like use your grapple and
Well,
shit.
yeah. Well, they were forcing you to do it. That was the whole thing. 'Cause
Yeah,
if they
that's the
had
reason
the
I could
jump,
never
you
get
wouldn't
into that game. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? This game's stupid. I remember I was a kid. I'm like, this is stupid. I can't jump. You know.
Some guy who couldn't jump.
Man, I had high hopes when they released the new version, when they redid the whole thing. Not the remakes of the old ones, but when they did the one with Mike Patton doing the voice work. Like,
he
oh,
was like
come-
he was like swinging around like indecision, cloud my vision.
I was hyped. But he got
Oh, that game
dreads
was
now.
terrible, though.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It was really bad.
No, where says Bobby?
Yeah, no, I mean, those remakes were awesome with the music when they redid the theme song. and stuff.
Man, I'll stop.
Yeah. Or like they had that one thing where like when you would go, like the music would be playing loud in the level, and then you go into a door and it'd be like it sound like this, boom, boom, boom. You just hear the bass and everything. I was like, why would you do it? It's like the music is actually playing in the environment, and you're in
Coming
another
from a
room
car
listening to-
stereo outside.
Yeah, coming
That's
from
why.
a car stereo.
You know.
Fun
So
little
hilarious.
details. Rest
Also,
in peace. Brian.
honorable mention in there
Yeah.
of Earthworm Jim.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
yes.
that was good, man.
Good one.
Yeah, that was good.
Jim. Well, you know what my honorable mentions would be? All the 2D Sonic games, man. You know.
You excited for Sonic Mania?
Oh hell yeah, man! I'm fucking ready, dude. And here's the thing: I played Sonic Mania PlayStation Experience. It feels like a Sonic game should, not that bullshit Sonic 4. Fuck that game, man. This is the real deal, man.
They
Ooh.
literally used that Sonic CD engine they used on the last Sonic, when they maybe remade Sonic CD.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
cool.
Sonic CD, my favorite Sonic game, man. Oh, love it.
I remember that.
Love it. All right, man. Let's wrap this shit up. So thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, tonight joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you later, guys.
Chris
wait.
Seeley.
Wait.
What the fuck are you ruining the flow right now,
Wait,
man?
hold on. By the way, don't forget to pick up Mosaic on graphic novel, which is coming pretty soon.
Okay.
Oh shit. Yo, man, they finally getting those to you, man.
Yes, they are. They gave me one, which I'm going to cherish like Gollum.
Because I know they never used to send you shit.
No, Marvel. It's a sad thing about Marvel, but Marvel does not send you your single issues when you get them. But DC does. So do most other comic companies. So it's like biggest comic company supposedly in the world, and they can't flip me a couple of first.
Yo,
Yo,
man,
do you think maybe
Mosaic 8, man?
you think maybe they
Was
just
that-
don't have a department for it?
No,
No,
they
there's
do.
been-
They've
there's
always
been
had
a
a department. When I interned there in 1998, as an intern, I could get comp copies where you could literally you worked in the office and you got comp copies. I could even get comp copies of DC books because DC and Marvel had a handshake deal. It's like, okay, you send us our stuff, we'll send us your stuff. stuff
Yeah,
like that.
but I mean, like, did you see like a guy's job was to just ensure that talent received their copy? You know what I mean?
Every single edit, it doesn't. There's no guy. Every single editor is responsible for sending out comps.
When I did my internship at Columbia Records, and
Yo,
remember
can
I
we
had
end
like
the show?
layers.
Fuck.
Wait, I'm just saying, and we had like bins, and every once in a while we would have to pack up shit to send to certain artists. Like I think Lauryn Hill just came out with an album. Like you got to send her a bunch of CDs because she needs it for her own. Like, all right, I had to pack up a box, So that's what I'm saying. It's like did they have like an intern just do those type of things?
Yeah, no, they just, in other words, it would be either editorial or be intern, but they would get, again, most of the other companies that I've worked at are really spot on. As soon as you finish a book, you essentially get it like right away.
Right, Manny, last thing, Mosaic 8.
Yes, Mosaic 8. Working on it now.
Out now?
No, Mosaic 8, Mosaic 7 just is either dropped or dropping this month, and then next month is Mosaic 8.
Very nice, very nice. All right, Chris Seeley.
I hope you guys enjoyed the debate. I'll close it out by saying always, look for facts. And I'll leave with a quote by Carl Sagan. Better the hard truth, I say, than the comforting fantasy. And in the final tolling, it often turns out that the facts are more comforting than the fantasy.
Deep. Carlos Romero.
Go listen to Kendrick Lamar's new album. That's it.
Brian Manjoma.
Shout out to
robots.
Shout out to Christina from Connecticut and John.
All right. I hope they're fans.
Oh, yeah, they're fans.
Love you guys.
Yay.
Brett Murdock.
It's been real, party people.
And Adam Vale.
Go on YouTube, look up Ricochet double moonsault.
Yeah.
That shit, right? You saw it. That shit doesn't even look real, and it is. This dude did a double moonsault and landed. He landed. Fucking sick.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Throw down your questions. Episode 129. Later.
Later, guys.
Later.
Peace.
Pop up him.